I don't think so. It doesn't happen that way. And if I look the history of Greek-Turkish relations, 1930s was the exception that proves the rule. We continuously have a conflict with each other, right from the beginning of Greek independence, or even before that. So, this 16 years also, I think, is another exception, might be another exception, unless we tend the process. And one another problem is not only that we are not developing new connections, areas of connections between two societies, but we are also weakening some already existing mechanisms, right? We are, 4 of us are members of Greek-Turkish Forum. Like exploratory Turks, we meet every 3-4 months to say hi to each other, have good coffee, good company, discuss everything under the sun, but do nothing about Greek-Turkish relations, right? But that mechanism, was important at one time. And instead of, strengthening it, the governments doesn't care about it, and it's being weakened. So we are not establishing new ones, and we are weakening the old ones. So I look from the pessimistic side. Looking at the results, of course, I disagree with Dimitris in his metaphor of Europe as a glue for Greek-Turkish relations. There are people in Turkey, they say anchor. Dimitris said glue is the same thing. When Turkey and Greece started to connecting with the European Union, the idea was to use it against each other, right? The original idea was not to become a European. It was to use it against each other. I know it's a perennial question in Greece, whether Greece is Eastern country or Western country, and we know it's a perennial question in this country. Being European, if we call ourselves all European, it will put us in the same room. And being in the European Union doesn't mean European at all, anyway. Whether we are European, that's a personal choice. I think we are all Europeans. So what? Does that mean that I will love all the other Europeans? It's a modern notion, but it's a perception also. It doesn't come from the reality. Decoupling of Cyprus and Aegean, I think these are quite important, and the most hot issue between Greece and Turkey, I believe, is the territorial waters issue. Everything touches it. It's the border issue. This has been the real problem between the nations from the time immemorial. The borders, nations and the states go to fight because of their borders. That's the most dangerous issue. All the other problems are linked to it. Cyprus was just one of the problems that come out, and now Cyprus is contained. It's overly internationalized. Okay, there are armies on the island, but they are not intending to fight each other. I don't see Turkish side wanting to conquer more territory in Cyprus. And I don't see Greek Cypriots or Greek army in Cyprus trying to regain what they lost militarily. That's not there. People are not talking, people are not thinking about that. So Cyprus is much contained, even though it's on the headlines. There is an international interest. Everybody wants negotiations, love this limelight and the photographs, etc. That's why it's on the agenda. But Cyprus, I don't think Cyprus is the hot issue. Greece and Turkey will not be fighting over Cyprus, but they might be fighting over the territorial waters, over the definition of areas and national areas in the Aegean. That's the national interest. So we have to tend to that. And there is no improvement there. After 59 meetings, we have not solved yet. the problem. And there is no interest, I think. The ambassador said that it's not in the agenda. It's not in the agenda, sure, and I don't think there is an interest. People got comfortable. The fact that there is no crisis in the last 16 years made people comfortable. They think that we can live with the problems forever. But it takes, remember, 16 years ago, right? It took a fate of a small ship, capsized, was it right? Figanakat, by the grounded by an islet. EMEA, Greeks called it, we called it Kardak. And we almost went to the war, right? It's not by intentional, but it could happen again. So that's the most hot issue, I think. Coming to the title, Rapprochement Leading to Europe, I also disagree. Rapprochement, not only rapprochement, even the solution of Greek-Turkish problems, final solution, will not take Turkey and Greece to Europe. That's one side. And I believe it's the Turkey's European road are dependent on other more important issues than solving the Greek-Turkish problem. And Greece's road to Europe was never tied to rapprochement with Turkey anyway. They become member when we had a big problems. Continue to be member when we have a big problem. So it's not together with hand in hand to Europe. We have separate roads, and I think Turkish EU, again, it's not on the agenda of Turkey, but when it comes to the agenda of Turkey, Turkish-German relations and Turkish-French relations would be much more important to Turkey's European road than Cyprus or Greece. Thank you. Do we have another question?
Not yet.
No, okay.
Well, last but not least, Sylvia Tiryaki. Is Cyprus contained?
Well, I mean, definitely if we are comfortable in Turkey-Greece relations because of no major crisis in the last 16 years, then we are very comfortable in Cyprus because of no major crisis there for 41 years. And perhaps, I mean, the answer to your question would be it's not as contained as we might think, but definitely up to certain degree, yes. But it's frozen, so. But before I delve completely into Cyprus issue, I would like to echo something what was said a couple of minutes ago, and that's about how to say. Mustafa said, like, how to say we are good and nice guys. How Turks can say to Greeks that yes, we are good guys, and vice versa. I think the answer is in education. I think the answer is in changing syllabuses, at least of the primary schools, and basically the curricula of those generations who are here to come. I think if elites in both in Turkey are supposed to do something with this almost 60 meetings, and if there is nothing else to do, which obviously is the case, I think all of us should get focused on the education, as they did in Germany and France, as they did in Balkans, as Talat tried to do in TRNC when he was elected. Then I mean the syllabus is changed back to more nationalist and the unilateral, let's say, approach to historical narratives. But I think unless we do that, and I think it's a good starting point, we are just talking in vain, and it will stay always in the elites circles. Why the Cyprus has been included into this panel? I think there are three main and good reasons for this. First of all, because the relations between Greece and Turkey have been poisoned by the Cyprus problem. Also because Turkey's EU membership, and we are talking about EU, has been linked to Cyprus. The chapters, majority of chapters which are frozen, which cannot be open, and none of them can be closed. The negotiation chapters, they have been frozen by Republic of Cyprus or because of Cyprus, except of a couple of them frozen by or put on hold or stalemated by France. And last but not least, because Turkey and Greece are guarantor powers of Republic of Cyprus. And having said this, although Greece has not been really willing to play a very active role in the Cyprus issue, at least until recently, and even now, I mean, the only action that is in the newspapers and so on taken by Greece is the consortium, I call it, I don't know how to call it, alliance, consortium or whatever, of Egypt, Greece and the Greek Cypriots. But this doesn't mean that if at the official level, if the Greece was not present, at the semi-official level or track to diplomacy, our Greek partners have not been interested in. And I was very happy when you told me that Polina was supposed to be here. Polina, my center has been the Global Political Trend Center has been conducting bicommunal talks between Turkish Cypriots and Greek Cypriots since 2008, and we have been putting together not only Turkish Cypriots and Greek Cypriots, either decision makers or people very close to the decision-making circles, but also our friends from Greece, Polina and Philippos Savides. They have been actually the sine qua non of this bicommunal talk since 2008. So having said this, yes, I mean the Cyprus is definitely linked directly or indirectly to this Greek-Turkey relations. Now, I was also told before this panel started that actually Cyprus was included mainly because it hit the headlines, that the Northern Cyprus, the TRNC elections hit the headlines recently. And again, then what we are talking about are basically the domestic developments. And as Mustafa said, I mean, domestic developments in certain country or one country or another, there are always elections, right, in one of the countries. So there are always the domestic developments. They are always referred to as a key to solution or resolution of the issues. But in this case, I would, and in all other cases, I would definitely. I would be prone to cautious optimism. Although the Mustafa Akinci victory in the presidential elections raised the hopes, or it was portrayed as the hopes should be actually raised in international community for the fast resolution of the Cyprus problem. I mean, you know, all presidents in both sides, Turkish Cypriot side and Greek Cypriot side, they've been claiming that they were pro-solutions. So basically, Greece is pro-solution, Turkey is pro-solution, another guarantor power, Great Britain is pro-solution. It depends on what kind of solutions we are talking about. And I think that Mr. Akinci became popular because of his approach to Varosha, Varosha issue. This issue is nothing new on the table either. It was raised by the Talat administration unilaterally in Brussels years ago, and it has been on the table for some time as CBM, as confidence building measure. How I see the whole situation is that the team, you know, leaders are coming and going. They have been all possible and impossible combinations of leaders in Cyprus, and we haven't moved almost anywhere. Perhaps the closest to solution we were when Talat and Christofias were in the office. They had prepared a list of convergences and divergences. This list is available. If there is a willingness both on Turkish Cypriot side and on Greek Cypriot side, they can pick up these divergences and convergences, and they can start from that. Also, Erolu and Anastasiades, they could do that. They did not, and I think that slight reason behind that is not that the convergences and divergences were there was something wrong with the list. What was wrong was that it was not prepared by them. So basically, in some parts of the world, upcoming leaders are more jealous about the achievements of the previous leaders. And I wish in Cyprus there is something like, something similar to Norway's political culture adopted. I just came back from one conference in Abu Dhabi, and there was a person from Norwegian foreign ministry, and he was just explaining me how he is preparing the file for the new foreign minister from the old foreign minister. So basically, the new foreign minister can follow up, and how even though when there is a change in the political parties and they don't like each other, it doesn't matter. There must be a continuity. I would like to see such a continuity, for instance, not only in Turkey. I don't want to speak on behalf of Greece, but definitely in Cyprus that would help. My hope is Özdil Nami, who was named the chief negotiator of Turkish Cypriot side, because he was the person behind these convergences and divergences, and he on the Turkish Cypriot side, and he knows them by his heart. So yeah, I'm a bit sad that he cannot be foreign minister, that this dual function was not approved, because in the beginning, it was thought that he could go ahead with being foreign minister and the chief negotiator at the same time. Greek Cypriot side, namely Anastasiades, he agreed with that, but that was not the case. But still, I think that it might be instrumental. He might be instrumental in moving the things ahead. Of course, are there any sticking points? I said that divergences and convergences list is there. We know exactly what the convergences are. In case of divergences, yeah, there are some sticking points. What are the main issues? Basically, single citizenship and nationality. Me personally, I would be a bit cautious here. I don't know how healthy it is to have both single citizenship and nationality in a country. If we talk about the reunified Cyprus, in country as Cyprus is, where we have Turkish Cypriots and Greek Cypriots, two different languages, two different backgrounds, and so on. Why I'm telling this is because I was born and I grew up in Czechoslovakia. And I know that that's not, and we have one citizenship and two nationalities. And I think it was very healthy. I know that it was not according to European standards later on, and it was not approved under the, let's say, the new setup. But I don't think that that's necessarily a very bad solution to countries, to federal countries, where you have two different nations, basically. I know that that's not how it is said. The world nations is not used in this context. Cross-voting is another sticking point, and the rotating presidency. I think all this can be overcome. Me personally, I don't see any problem on the table. I think that everything has been discussed. Each side knows what exactly should be done, how much sacrifices or how much compromise it takes. And I think the only thing which is necessary is a goodwill on both sides. Therefore, and don't get me wrong, I'm not completely against CBM. Yeah, I'm not completely against confidence building measures. But I don't understand why we should start with the confidence building measures at the point when everything has been discussed already, when we exactly know what the other side should do, and when the plan basically is on the table. So exchanging or making the, let's say, this, how do you call it? This alishverish, I don't know how to put it, between give and take between, thank you, that was funny, by the way, between Varosha and opening of the port of Famagusta and to international trade, and opening the port of Ercan to international traffic. This will be done anyway. Yeah, so I don't want to. This will be done anyway within the comprehensive settlement, within the comprehensive solution. If it helps to do this, if it helps to speed up the way towards the comprehensive settlement, if this is done before the final talks resume, or before the final talks are actually in place, then it's okay. What I'm afraid of, that it's something which is having a potential to be portrayed or to be seen as an achievement good enough, not to get further focus on the final settlement talks. Something very similar to Greek and Turkey relations, that you become too comfortable and then you stop basically paying attention to the main topic. Finally, the EU factor in all this. It's being said that the final Cyprus solution should be within the EU parameters. Definitely, acquis communautaire should be adopted in the north. They are pending for the time being because of the Protocol 10, which was attached to the Treaty of Accession from 2004. I think that's something what can be done for the time being. I think that the Turkish Cypriot side, the TRNC, can be allowed or should be allowed to start adopting acquis communautaire before the solution. I don't think that this should be hindered. I don't think this should be blocked. And my final point is, since I'm talking about EU and what shouldn't be hindered and blocked, I mean, I would be so happy to see chapter 23, 24, and 26 of negotiation process to be unblocked. They are blocked purely by Republic of Cyprus, and I think it would be for the benefit of everyone, Greek Cypriots, Turkish Cypriots, Turkey, the entire European Union, if the chapter 23, 24, and 26 are unfrozen, unblocked. Thank you.
Thank you. I think there is plenty on the table for the two presenters to respond to, but we'll do that after the break, and